Johnson just has a slight hamstring strain from the game. And then Truman Jones, his knees bothering him a little bit. Chris Jones is still coming back, feeling much better. McCade, and then Winchester with that AC sprain. We're just going to hold him out. We've signed a center. They'll come in and do the long snapping for us this week until he gets back. And, as far as the rotation goes for the Bears, I'll probably set the starters the way it looks right now, and we'll have the other guys get out there and play. So we'll just see how that goes rep-wise. With that, time's yours.
You've done it both ways in that final preseason game, starters play, starters not play. What goes into that?
Yeah, so I look at kind of number of plays between camp and preseason games. You know, we were up some 50 plays from the year before in camp, so I was able to monitor that and work it in with the preseason game. So.
I should know this, but I'm not sure. Did you end up actually having more camp days because of adding that window at the start than you've had before, or is it just
It was the same.
same number?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just didn't have to go inside. And sometimes when we go inside, you have to cut back a few plays, you know, just with the tight walls there, tight space.
Any position group that you're really focused on watching on Thursday night?
Really all of them. You know, when you look at it, we're playing so many young guys, and I want to see where we're at there. You know, we didn't block and tackle very well with that second and third group, and both sides of the ball. And so I really want to give them more of an opportunity. Sometimes the ones get a lot of reps during camp practices, and let's get these guys some more reps here. And then, especially when we're getting ready to cut down, get a little better feel on those guys in a game situation. So I think this will be valuable for a lot of them. I can't tell you one position. You know, I try to look at all of them and just see where we're at here.
Indeed, Saturday was the first game that Nazia played in over a year. Just what were your takeaways from his performance, and just how beneficial has training camp been for him?
Yeah, I actually thought he did a pretty good job. Yeah, he did a pretty good job. I mean, he was a little bit sore coming out of it, but I thought he played well, and his man coverage stuff I thought was good. So.
And you just, if you expand on just that position more generally, I mean, but obviously we lost Snead, Spags, you're looking for sort of another two corner. Just what you think of that group as a whole, whether or not Jalen could factor in the Thursdays.
Yeah, well, we've got some guys that can play. We need to see Jalen get out there, and if he can play, then play, and then see where he's at. But some of those other guys have grown and shown some good stuff. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. Might be a committee over there, but it's there is some talent there. Yeah.
Do you have a sense whether some of the guys who've been injured are going to be ready to go when you guys get started against Baltimore? Guys like Chris Jones,
Yeah.
Toomey,
Yeah, I think all those guys. Yeah, I think all those guys will be. Right. The only one in question would probably be Hollywood.
Juwan Taylor.
Yeah. That should be ready.
Kingsley got some extended playing time on Saturday. That was the first really long look. What were the thoughts on him coming out of that?
Yeah, I thought he did some good things. He, you know, his pass protection was solid. His run game actually was very good. And he came out with things to work on. You know, there are a couple little technique things that he can work on. I think the thing we're finding, you give him something and he'll try it in a live situation. So, and he was able to give him a couple things that can help him.
Talk to Justin Watson in a few moments here. Just how important has he been these past 2 years, and especially now, just considering Brown won't likely play in the first year?
Yeah, he's been a valuable guy. I mean, throughout last year, he on third down, he did a tremendous job for us. And smart, can play all the different spots, can go all day. I mean, he can run all day, and he runs like a deer. So he's been very valuable to us.
Dennis?
Talk about the fact that you wanted guys to make it difficult for you to make the decision. How difficult do things feel now heading into this final preseason game?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be some, some tough moves. And that's why I'd like to give them some extended play and just see where we're at. Maybe there's a divider in there that something shows up. And it was good competition and really all those roles, but there's some great competition. We'll see how they do. Yeah.
Last one, Blair. I'm just wondering where things stand with Clyde, and you shared with us last couple weeks ago, I guess, his deal.
Yeah. We'll just, we're just playing it kind of by ear and how he feels. He started feeling better the day of the game, and then he's felt pretty good yesterday. So we're headed in the right direction here. It's a sensitive deal. We're trying to, learn as we go here with it. So.
Is there any possibility he could start the season on injured reserve, just given the time of the
Yeah,
season?
we haven't even gone there yet. So with Brett, and Brett, he might have a plan there, but I haven't really talked to him about that. We're trying to get him back out there and make sure he was comfortable, where he can function.
You expect to be out there today?
Yeah. Right now, I think, yeah.
Okay,
Well, we'll see, but right now, that's what I feel, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
How you doing?
How would you just assess, obviously you guys lost to Jarius, and I know there's been competition, how would you just assess the growth of maybe some of the younger guys that are in your position group?
Yeah, I think they're coming along really nice. We always talk every year about Coach Spagg's defense and stuff, but I think the biggest thing that I think these guys have been doing a good job at is just the communication. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be right every single play, but as long as they come back and get in the classroom and ask the right questions and go back out there and just fly around and be confident, I think that's the biggest thing I've seen them just take a little steps at. Yeah, you may be wrong, but just keeping that confidence and that energy going.
We've seen you recently in training camp play maybe a little bit of a slot corner, which obviously you did a lot of last year. Are you, what's your preference on whether or not you're still in that mix?
Man, like I always tell Coach Spags, wherever he needs me, I'll go and play. So last year, being able to be at nickel really helped me out just comfortability-wise, but being back on the outside also has been really fun, just getting back into the swing of things. I feel like corner is such like a perfectionist type position, your technique has to be flawless. So just going to work each and every day, just trying to perfect both positions has been a lot of fun for me.
Trent, what does stand out to you about Coach Spags as a coach and a person? What do you think enables him to be successful?
He cares. You know what I mean? I truly feel like we're his extended family when it comes to just how he treats us, how he approaches the game. Tough love, you know what I mean? But I think that's just shows how much he does care. He wants to put us in the best positions on the field, but also off the field. I mean, he's constantly talking to us, you know, how's the family, how's this, how's that. I have a good relationship with his wife, you know, we're really close, and he's just been one of those people that each and every year I can just count on him. And he's continued to show me guidance, and not only just as a football player and being in the NFL, but also just growing up and just maneuvering my way throughout this whole process. I lean on him a lot.
Would you expect anything like that when you came to the NFL, that you might have that kind of relationship with a coordinator?
You know, coming from my old college, I was really close with all the college coaches. So coming into the NFL, that's kind of been just my thing, was just relationships, you know, just building a great relationship with the DC, with the teammates, with just everybody around here. So I wouldn't say that's like surprising or anything, but something that has been really cool to experience.
Trent, it sounds like you're probably not going to play on Thursday, but you have the experience last year of playing in that opening night game.
Yeah.
Just what from that experience can you sort of take and maybe even improve getting ready for Baltimore?
Yeah, I think these next 2 weeks preparing for Baltimore is going to be the biggest thing. Last year, I think making sure physically you're ready. You know, you get a little bit of downtime, which is good for the body to recover, but making sure you're still in shape, because we're going to go out there and play a full game, which we haven't done since the Super Bowl. And also just the little things, you know, maybe watch a little more film, maybe talking to the safeties a little more, like, hey, when you see this split, like, what should we do here? I remember last year when we played the Lions, I felt like we were really prepared, and we came out really well as a defense. So just kind of taking that same philosophy as last year, but just trying new things out and implementing little things from this year that we learned is going to be huge.
You were in a different situation coming into the league than some of the younger guys who are trying to make the roster.
Yeah.
You get down to the end here, what kind of things do you say to these guys?
Yeah. One thing I tell them is, like Coach Reid always says, the tape is your resume, you know, and even if you don't make it on this squad, there's 31 other teams out there that is all watching this film that you put on tape. So no matter how many plays you get, no matter what you do out there on the field, make sure you put on your best display, because you don't know who's watching. And also just tell them to just take it all in. You know what I mean? Things go fast. Training camp's hard. You're tired. You're learning new plays. Things can get frustrating, but being able to take a step back and be like, you're in the NFL. You're living out your dream. You get to experience all these new things that you never dreamed of before this. Has kind of been my kind of philosophy with it. It's just like, take a step back sometimes and just enjoy where you're at.
Legarius and Spags were mentioned, just with Legarius no longer here, how much are you being tasked with maybe just to help lead the group a little bit more, be a little bit more vocal this season?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely relying on me a little bit more. You know, year 3, coming in here, being more of a leadership role, but also just someone who on the defense can become an anchor. You know what I mean? When you talk about guys like Reid, Chris Jones, guys who people look up to and be like, what should we do on this down the distance? Just being out there at the corner position where, you know, you're on the island, you know, you might have a big role in terms of communication and stuff, but still being one of those guys on the sideline, making sure everybody's head's still up, checking in on guys off the field, stuff like that. Little things that I can kind of take over for other guys is something that I'm trying to do.
Coach Merritt mentioned last week that one of the traits that they really want on the outside is length, and you acknowledge you're not the biggest corner out there.
Yeah.
But what's the difference as far as inside versus outside, and length making a difference? How do you compensate for that?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone against that, you know, my whole life. So the technique that I do works for me as far as inside and outside, but it's totally a different world. On the inside, you're getting a ton of different routes than you get on the outside, different skill position. I think as far as length comes, they're talking about bigger receivers on the outside, you know, 6'4", 6'5" guys who can go and jump the high balls and stuff like that. But I think that comes down to just 5 yards. You know, what can I do in 5 yards to slow the timing down, get my hands on the receivers, maybe show the quarterback different looks that I can do at the corner that he might not see as much. And then moving back to inside and being like, okay, now I have to blitz, now I have to play zone, now I have to show them different looks so that I can help my corners out and not just leaving them out there on the island. So I think physically wise, I'm confident in just both positions, but I think a mental aspect of it is a big jump, being able to do both.
We saw Coach Spags working a lot even back in the rookie mini camp with Jaden Hicks as far as blitzing and kind of disguising things and, you know, making sure the quarterback doesn't know what you do. What did you learn when you first got here about blitzing in the system?
Yeah, don't give it away. You know what I mean? Coach Spags likes to blitz DBs a lot, which I personally love, is the best thing ever. But making sure that you don't just give it away every time. You know what I mean? There's certain defenses, certain coverages, and certain calls that Coach Spags likes to show the quarterback pre-snap, and making sure you take your time and not just show it right away or even play with the quarterback a little bit. Like last year, a big thing for me was watching the play clock. You know, on third down, seeing when the quarterback liked to snap the ball and just reading that so that you can time things up a little bit better. Was something that I learned. Yeah.
Last one. Okay, thanks, Trent.
Well, good. Appreciate you guys, y'all. Yeah.
Go for Justin.
Hey, Justin, when you suffered that foot injury, I mean, it looked pretty gruesome at first. What were your thoughts when you went through it, and how are you feeling now?
Yeah, just very thankful, like you said, that it looked a lot worse than it was. Feel pretty good out there. Got a huge shout out to Rick and his whole staff, David Glover, getting me back a lot sooner than I think anyone expected. So just happy to be out there and feeling really good.
What's the biggest thing for you going out for Hollywood?
Yeah, I think, you know, at this point in the year, we're still just all focused on improving a ton each day. So that's been the goal since we got here in OTA, since we started training camp. And so that's really no different, as each of us are just focused on improving. And was good seeing Hollywood in the building this week. And seems like he's, you know, going to do everything he can to get back quickly. So, you know, that's it. We're just continuing to improve each day.
What stood out to you about Xavier Worthy, and especially just sort of his mental grasp of the game so far?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's lightning fast, and so to see him processing the game fast and allowing him to play with a lot of that speed was just really cool to see. Just good seeing him make smart decisions on that touchdown, recognize that there was no safety in the middle field, gave it a little stutter, and then took the grass. So just seeing him take huge strides each week, especially last week to this week, and I know it's going to keep going throughout the season.
Andy's complimented your knowledge of the playbook, just knowing every position. How much more comfortable are you feeling in year 3, you know, maybe to year 1 here?
Yeah, you know, I think that's always the progression. At first, you're just trying to figure out the plays on the sheet, and then after that, it's, okay, well, this is how the line is drawn on the sheet, but what do you have within the route that you can work with? And then, you know, now in my 3rd year, it's really about getting on the same page with Pat. You know, when I'm coming out of my breaks, knowing exactly where he's going to put the ball at, or in a certain play, how we're attacking the defense. So it's been cool just picking up where we left off, being able to point to some past year's film, say, hey, run it like you did last year against this team or that team, and you know, just continuing to build with the relationship with Pat.
Justin, can you take us through that catch you made against the Lions the other day, what you saw?
Yeah, it was just what we thought on film. They played a lot of cover 2, especially on 1st and 2nd down. So right off the ball when we lined up, we knew that it wasn't man coverage, so it was probably cover 2, and just let Xavier use all that speed to blow out 3 guys, and I just found that spot right underneath him. So usually I'm the guy that's taking the top off. It was nice being the guy that gets the catch.
Justin, with your 3 years now and sort of that time in the NFL, do you feel a little more of a role as, maybe elder statesman's too strong, but in the receivers room with what you're supposed to be and do in terms of that?
Yeah, you know, I've always just tried to be a leader in the room, even my 1st year here when I was just trying to get my feet wet. But yeah, you know, like I said, it's just cool to, like I said, know what the coaches want, know what Pat wants, and be able to share some insight with these guys so that, you know, they don't have to learn the hard way. So it's been fun coming in as the new guy, and then 3 years in, kind of found myself as the old guy in the room and the guy that's got a little more gray hairs here and there. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
But with Patrick, I think you described this as still kind of a, not work in progress exactly, but it seems like even as much as you've gotten to know him now, it's still a dynamic event to keep working with him and learn new frontiers, sort of. Is that way?
Yeah, you know, I think it's part of the game is to stay on top, is not to just do the same thing year in and year out. Every year teams have new things to throw at us. We saw that last year, and we had to adapt in the middle of the year. We know that coming into this year that teams are going to have new stuff for us. So we're starting to plan some of those things out and just see what trends are happening in the offense and the defense throughout the league, and just adapt on those.
In that elder statesman role, and also just a all-around complete receiver, you know, a complimentary guy in that sense. Is there any of these young receivers that you see, you know, maybe a young Justin Watson, a guy who can become that jack of all trades and be a glue guy in a room?
Yeah, I mean, I think top to bottom we've had a lot of good receivers. You know, I look at, you know, Sky Moore has been another guy that I think in his 3rd year also has evolved his role from just playing one position to knowing all the spots, being able to, you know, something happens, somebody needs a water break, a shoelace or something, and being able to point the sky and head in. And, you know, Cornell Powell was a great example in the preseason the other day. You know, he wasn't supposed to be on that play. We needed a sub for one play, and then he makes, you know, the play the preseason with a great catch. So I think we've done a great job as a receiver room, not just learning one position or just our plays, but trying to learn the whole offense so we can be dependable.
A couple more, we'll start with Nate.
I'm sure you felt more comfortable going from year 1 to year 2. Can you explain just what that feeling is like, and if you see any similarities with what Reid has shown so far?
Yeah, I mean, to think where he was this time last year to where he's at now, you know, I think even watching a couple of those plays, he caught a little 6-yard stick route, and before the ball was even in the air, he was already turning and starting to run upfield because he felt the space. Pat was already throwing him upfield, and you see a lot of those things, same things with him and Trav. So I think Reid is in an awesome place. To see him, you know, go from where he was at the end of last year and take a massive step to where he's at now has been cool to see. I think he's going to be a great leader for our room this year on and off the field.
Sam?
You mentioned earlier that last year you were the guy that had run a lot of the vertical routes. Obviously, you guys got 2 pretty fast guys this year. I know Hollywood's out, but will be back. Do you anticipate that changing your role in year 3 here, running maybe more with some of the underneath stuff?
You know, I just kind of each week we try to throw different things at the defense. I'm ready to run the deep stuff, run the short stuff, and everything in between. You know, I think it's just nice to have another option to present the defense. We got 3 guys that are all fast that can take the top off the defense, so they don't know who exactly it's going to be on each play, and you got to respect, you know, each one of those guys going on the field, because if you don't, we're going to take you up top.
Last one, anyone? All right, thanks, Justin.
All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.